So do you feel it yet? You're laughing already.
Do I
Do you
feel what?
feel the pressure
cold?
of Christmas coming? Yes, the cold.
Oh.
It is cold in Middle Tennessee.
I don't feel the pressure because I'm unemployed. I feel no pressure.
You feel no pressure.
When there's no budget, you feel a lot less pressure.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But there's
Do
something
you feel the pressure?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. It's not just the financial pressure, though, of, okay, where are we going to get all the presents from? And how are we going to do all the things that we intended or planned on doing? But it's just the busyness of the season, the expectations that people have, the travel, the family get-togethers. There's, for some people, extra parties and all the things. And I know that this is something that we deal with every year, and we all get through it somehow. Yeah. But I'm wondering, like, now that our circumstances have changed, I thought it would be a little less in my face in some ways.
Huh. What ways did you think it'd be less?
A little bit more like you. Like, hey, I'm unemployed. I've got downtime. I've got whatever. So I'm going to be able to just roll with everything more smoothly.
There's a key difference. You're not unemployed.
Well, that's true. I was for a little while, but I'm not right now, yes.
So you do have busier things, and you have travel with the new job, and you have more family interaction, I think, now because your schedule's different. So you're doing more of the kids' schedule that you didn't have before. Yes. Check.
So all of that has led to, I feel the pressure.
Huh.
So I'm glad you don't.
I don't.
I'm good, and I'm happy for you. I know we're going to be good, and, Christmas is going to come, and it's going to be great, and we're going to look back, and, that was the year that, was Dad's, first year being around a lot more right before Christmas. So it's going to be good. I know that without a doubt. That being said, some of the things that I know some families do in terms of tradition and getting out and activities and all that, like, we have never really done a ton of that. And part of it's just been the busyness of the schedule. Well, now, like, we got a little more space in the schedule.
Fun.
Like, we should probably do more family traditions. So do you guys have any good family traditions? Maybe we could borrow one?
Not
or rip it off?
really,
No?
because the family tradition we had was when we were in Michigan, and we could go and pick out our Christmas tree.
Okay.
We had a friend that owned a Christmas tree farm. We would go there every year, whether it was snowy or 70, which was not too normal in Michigan for Christmas. And we would pick out this tree, and you'd go and you'd look at all of them. We had the best time doing that. That was one of our Christmas traditions. When we moved here to Tennessee, all fresh trees died. And they died by the 10th of December. And
wow.
Oh, yeah. And needles were all over the place. And after, I don't know how many years, Ben May said, we're not doing that anymore. We're done.
Yeah.
We're getting an artificial tree, and that's going to be it. And so I think this tree, I'm pretty sure this tree's been with us for a long, long time. Like, you know how they come pre-lit now? Yeah. The pre-lits don't work. We still have to put the lights on the tree.
Put the lights on it, yep.
I also think, though, this was a hand-me-down tree that a friend of ours gave this to us, or we bought it at her garage sale. So we've had this for a long time. It's been put through its paces through one family and ours. So our tree tradition is just making sure that we're all together when we decorate the tree. That's not easy when you have an older one that is living out of state, as you well know.
Very true. So she was home over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes.
So did she get to be a part of the decorating?
She did.
Nice.
What was funny to me is because she lives far away and she's not usually home to decorate the tree, but the 24-year-old, the brother, this year knew she was coming and said, no, we're not decorating the tree until Alex gets home. And I was like,
wow.
All righty then. We will be waiting to make sure that everybody gets in on that. That, to me, just blessed my heart over the Thanksgiving holiday. We also set it up early. I think we did this last year, too, where Christmas went up before Thanksgiving was over, and we weren't rushing Thanksgiving out the door. It's just the ambiance. It's the peace.
Yeah.
It's the... Yeah, I know you guys did this year.
Oh, our tree was up at least a week, if not 2 weeks before Thanksgiving this year.
You guys beat us this year.
We did. which I think is the first time. But I had to clean out the attic because we were having some work done in our house. And so I needed the attic space all clear. So we're like, well, we're not going to just haul all the Christmas decorations out and only put them in the garage for a little while. We may as well put them up. And so our tree's been up for a while now, and I still love it.
Fun.
Yeah, we've got the space where there's a little bit of a vaulted ceiling. And so we do actually have a pretty tall tree.
Nice.
It's about 12 or 14 feet, I forget. But you walk in, and it's just like massive Christmas tree, and I still love looking at that thing.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
There's just something about it that brings a sense of well-being and peace. And so when you guys decorate the tree, is there a tradition for that? Because for us, we have ornaments that are just, hodgepodge.
Oh, yeah.
Kids from yesteryear. We still have things that our 29-year-old had when she was in kindergarten. They're on the tree.
Yep.
Those kinds of things.
Yep.
Is that the same kind of tree?
Ornaments from my childhood
Yes.
that I still put on the tree.
Yes.
So Susie, when she packs up the ornaments every year, we'll take them off the tree, and she'll put like each family member's ornaments in a separate box.
Oh, how organized.
And then there are some that are ours together, right? I know. She's very organized
I
that way.
love that about her. I envy that.
So, yes, Ava puts up her ornaments, and Andrew puts up his, and I have mine, and Susie has hers, and we have some of Darian's, and Darian has some of her own, and then we have some that's like family, and those anybody can put up.
Uh-huh. What's one of your ornaments?
One of mine, the first one that comes to mind is a little mouse. I think his name is Timmy the Mouse, and he was tied to some sort of Christmas story from when I was a kid. Aww. And so that is like one that is got to be close to 50 years old now.
Did your mom save all those for you and then pass them on at a certain time?
Yeah.
Do you remember when she passed them on?
I think it was when I bought my first house.
Okay.
I think.
I don't remember when Mom gave me mine either. Maybe once I got married, because I know Mom and she knows me, and it was like we can't trust her until she settles.
Exactly.
They'll be lost forever.
Yeah.
Because they'll get put in a box and oops, that one didn't get moved or something like that. As Susie, as organized as she is, our ornaments, you know those big storage tubs?
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you the gallon of this particular one, but it has this blanket in it, a throw, that is that kind of pinpoint, and it's a snowman. And for whatever reason, Ben took that several years ago, and he lined this plastic bucket with it, and every ornament goes into the bucket.
Nice.
Like that.
Like that.
Carefully. We don't throw them in there. But every year, it's an untangling of all of the beautiful ornaments, and the kids are looking for specific ones. And, like, I have an ornament for each kid that says, "You're my favorite." And it says, "You're my favorite middle child," and it has Micah's name on it. "You're my favorite oldest. You're my favorite youngest." And they will always look for those, and they individually put those on. So it's kind of like a bit of a scavenger hunt. Yeah. Because you're having to get down in there and dig. You're mining for treasure.
You're mining. Okay. So you go mining for years? No?
No, I said it's sport for me. I just sit on the couch.
You just watch. Let them do it.
Yeah. They're so capable.
All right. So do you have an ornament that's your favorite?
I do. I do have an ornament that's my favorite. I did it when I was probably 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And there were these beads, the styrofoam. It almost looks like an inverted egg. So the heavier part is at the top, and then it comes down to almost a teardrop. And some kind of kit, I guess, Mom or our babysitter had gotten. And we took beads, put them on a straight pin, and put them into this. And that straight pin must be so long. I don't remember. I just know that they stick out about like that on the little egg thing, and it's all pink and white and glittery, and I do love it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And do you hang that one? You have to hang that one, don't you?
Not this year. I didn't. Wow. This year I did not hang that one. I'm trying to think of when I hung this year, because the kids did tell me, "Mom, you got to get up and hang this one," because which one was it? I was enjoying so much watching them because they're all adults now, and they were enjoying it, and there were no like fusses, and they were just enjoying being together and decorating the tree. And I was just like, oh, I was just kind of In my own
Just
little
watching.
revelry, yes. Enjoying that, thanking the Lord for the fact that my kids are very far apart in age. They're like,
Sure.
yeah, the girls are 11 years apart. And then we've got the son in the middle. And so it's 5 years and 6 years. When they get along, because they've always fussed at me for being born so far apart. And when they get along, I keep saying, just wait, just wait. It is going to be okay. And now
It's okay.
finally, it's good.
Took a few years to get there, but
It did.
you get there.
It did. Man, though, you've got me thinking, and why I can't come up with which ornament they said, Mom, you've got to hang this one. I think it was one my cousin did that is like a little straw hat, and she painted it.
Okay.
Because she's my first cousin. And it seems like there was one more. Ben said, you've got to hang this one. The kid said, yeah, Mom, you got to do it. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
This is why Mom didn't trust me with the
Still my
ornaments.
job to put the star on top because, like I said, our Christmas tree is like 12 or 14 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
And so Susie gets paranoid about letting the kids go up the ladder too high.
I don't blame her.
Yeah, I have to do that one. I'm like, all right, but then it's your guys' job to make sure I get it on straight. So
Do you need a ladder?
yeah.
You're so tall.
Not 14 feet tall. I mean, 6 feet tall, yes.
I don't know. If you do this, are you
If
tall
it was
enough?
a 7-foot tree, I could do that, but not a 12-foot tree or a
I bet you could
14-foot.
put the angel on our tree. I don't think ours is that tall. I mean, you saw the tree.
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to how tall it might have been? Probably not.
It looks like it's 6.
Oh, not even.
I would 6.5 to 7.5, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
I would have guessed.
We have an angel. Speaking, you put an angel on the top of your tree.
Star.
A star. You
There
just
is an
said
angel
star.
that hangs near the top of the tree,
Okay.
but there is a star at the very top.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Good biblical order there. Star and angel. Any shepherds on that tree?
I think there are, and at least a couple little manger crush scenes.
I know what ornament I have to hang on the tree. It's a flamingo. Mm-hmm. I had to hang. I think I have 3 of them, and Ben pulled them all out and said, "You need to hang those."
Yes.
Yes, and then a pineapple.
Okay.
There's a
Gotta hang
pineapple.
that.
Yep. So those are because they're beachy, and they. Yep. Those are the ones I had to hang.
Well, just don't hang the pineapple upside down. But you have pineapples all over your house, so that doesn't surprise me that there's a pineapple on the tree.
We did not build that house, and there are pineapples all over the house, like
Yeah.
light fixtures and all these things. I think it's that whole. It's not aloha, but welcome.
Yeah.
Pineapple means
It's like
welcome.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you guys are welcoming.
Yes.
So you welcomed us to
And we
town
have
very
flamingos
well.
on our tree.
So, any big plans for this Christmas?
We don't. And you asked me about stress and whether or not I'm stressed. And this is kind of one of those years that I'm really not.
Good for you.
It's because that tension of the job that we had and getting up so early and the tension of keeping the schedule going because of full-time hours and all that I loved, but that's not here. So now the rhythm is different. I think the Christmas parties we had years ago, it used to be you'd have one like 3 times a week because Ben would have his, and then we'd have ours, and then church, and then all the things. And we don't have any of those anymore. So we are going out with friends to see. One of them is singing in like a big choral thing, and so we're going to see that. And I'm going to a Bible study tomorrow night, but I don't think that's Christmas related. It's just gals are getting together, study the Word, and I got invited. So no, and because the kids all know we're on a very tight budget this Christmas, everybody seems really relaxed.
Well, that's
and
good.
Chilled, and I'm just glad if the kids will come home.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It
Everybody
really
getting together.
Really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex is coming back.
She is.
Nice.
She is. And bless her, she's they're all independent.
Yeah.
From really little baby, she's been super independent. I could still see that little face. She's 29 now, but she'd sit in her high chair, and she only would let a couple of people come. We called it her, she had a 5-foot diameter around her that you should not walk in unless you're one of 2 people. And I thankfully was one of those. But my mom or her daddy, one, was standing at her high chair one day and just was standing there with the hand on the back of the high chair. And she's little, like 12 months old, and she goes, And so she's just been fiercely independent. She is even being so kind to me as I've said, okay, now you've been home for Thanksgiving and it's been great, and you get to come back in like 3 weeks. And she's like, mm-hmm. And she does love coming home.
Yeah.
But I am so glad that she loves being here with the family, but that she also loves her life and doing what God's called her to do. But there's something in me as a mom that is just enjoying these days because it can change, you know?
Oh, yeah.
New people enter into your world, and that's all good. I look forward to those days. But yeah, I'm also very glad that you have that time where it's the original cast.
Yeah. 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 I was just kind of thinking of Christmases over the years and how they have looked so different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we have any Christmas tradition, either from my family of origin
Okay.
or that, well, maybe a little bit, but nothing that we did every year. There were certain things that we maybe tended to do, kind of, but it was never like this is something we had to do every year. And we never really had one either in this family. And I think part of that was when Susie was working, she was working retail. Right. And so that's just really busy up into the Christmas season, right, up to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And so by the time Christmas rolled around, she was just exhausted. Mm-hmm. And so we never really developed traditions during that season. And over the past few years, you know, if there's a tradition that we have in the last handful of years, it's the trip back up to Chicago to go see family.
Sure. Now, you're talking tradition, though, leading up to Christmas, or are you talking Christmas
any of that,
Eve,
leading
Christmas
up to
Day?
it, leading up to it, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. There's been nothing that I can look back on and say, like, yes, that is a hard, fast, unbreakable tradition.
We do have one that is hard, fast, and unbreakable.
Okay.
We've been doing it since I was probably in middle school. I can't remember when my mom started it, but my parents were divorced, and when Mom would have us on Christmas, we would always read Luke chapter 2. Always.
Yep.
Always. Non-negotiable. Mom, we want to open the gift, because I had a little brother then. Mom, not until we read Luke chapter 2. And then as we started having children, we would always read Luke chapter 2. And I will have to say, occasionally, I got really, can't we open presents first? No, we're going to just get into the Word and remember why we celebrate Christmas. And now the kids are like, okay, they come with the Bible.
Nice.
Now, again, they're adults.
Yeah.
They're adults. But I was thinking this year how cool it is that after you establish a rhythm like that, they'll do, like we as a family, we will all do that together, and it's pretty precious.
Yeah, that is very cool. Mm-hmm. We've done that some years. Part of it depends on where we've spent Christmas. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you're not always at the same place and not always with the same people and certain things, sometimes different families have different traditions.
Absolutely.
And handle Christmas different ways. So, yes. Yeah, some years we've done that, some years we have not.
The only time I almost wavered was when my daddy was around, and we were usually together on Christmas, and Daddy was not one that wanted the Bible read. But I decided with fear and trembling I was going to do it anyway.
Good for you.
And he did. He tolerated it. He was fine. Do your thing, he'd say. After a while on Christmas, he would sit there and he'd go, do your thing. And then we would read the Word, and he would get to hear the Word. And I was always very glad about that. And then we would get into the presents. So,
yeah.
Our other tradition is a little bit newer. It is 10 years old.
Okay.
And that is a Christmas Eve tradition where we have either matching pajamas.
I've seen pictures.
Or something.
Yes.
In an attempt to have a cohesive family picture. But, there have been some fails through the years. There have been some great successes.
Yeah.
And there have been some major fails.
So are there going to be Christmas jammies this year?
What jammies?
Oh, really?
So there's this thing in my family, because it's a Christmas Eve gift.
Yeah.
And since they were 10 years ago, and they would always say, Mom, what jammies did we get this year? And I'd always say, what jammies?
What jammies?
And just recently, the baby asked something about the pajamas, and I was like, I launched into this explanation, and she goes, what? And I said, oh, I just failed, didn't I? She goes, You were supposed to say, what jammies? And I failed. So I have to answer you in that way. What jammies?
What jammies?
All right. I don't know what you're talking about.
Y'all are going to have to, I guess, look at Facebook or Instagram or something, Christmas Day, Christmas the 26th.
If you go back on our Facebook, you can see the fails too.
Yeah. What was the worst fail?
The worst fail was 2020.
Really?
You should remember this. Not really, but just because we talked about it. And
yeah.
You saw it, I think, because our families traveled together in 2020.
We did. We were, our families were vacationing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had this great idea, and I got these pajama bottoms that had candy canes on them. And I thought, let's tie-dye shirts.
Yes.
To go with the candy cane bottoms. This will be so fun. Oh, it was an epic fail. Not only was there not enough dye, and to buy additional dye is massively expensive, the stuff I was buying. And they turned orange and yellow. The patterns were terrible. They looked awful with the pants. Then we didn't even get a full family photo because 2 of the kids were coming later.
Right.
And my son got COVID. And the oldest wouldn't let him stay home on Christmas alone, sick. So she didn't come. And so we have this photo of the 3 of us on the beach. So there was a little redemption there. But it was a terrible fail.
I'm sorry. That was it was a good Christmas and a rough Christmas all at the same time.
Yeah, that's one of those coexisting things, right?
Right.
The and is in the middle of that one.
And I remember thinking, man, we should do this every Christmas. But the Christmas of 2020, like, you could travel super cheap. And because nobody was traveling. Right. People were paranoid at that point. And so we found a last-minute deal that we said, we're going to go because, the family we normally got together with, they were worried about COVID. Mm-hmm. So we're like, fine, if everybody's going to worry about this, then we'll go travel.
Sure.
We're telling you guys about that at Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And you're like, hey, I think Susie said, you guys want to come? You're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So kind of last minute, we made this trip happen. And I remember on that trip thinking, we should do something like this every year at Christmas. No Christmas, because I've looked, no Christmas has been anywhere close to that price point. So,
no, sir.
That was a one and done thing, I think.
It sure was. That's one of the most expensive times of the year now to travel to places that are warm and that you can enjoy in that way. My kids are such traditionalists. They love being home for Christmas. And we started that when they were little because we would always travel to see our families. And it finally got to where we couldn't take all the baby gear and we couldn't take the presents and all the things and get somewhere. Like we didn't have, at the time, we didn't even have a minivan, I don't think. So we finally said, okay, y'all want to be with us Christmas, come to us. We would love to have you, but we just can't travel anymore. They have loved being home for Christmas. That year, they were like, oh, travel on Christmas? Okay. And this year, one of the kids said, every now and then to change it up on Christmas, I'm okay with that. I mean, if we're going to travel or something, I said, oh, sister, if there was money and budget for it, we'd be traveling this year. I said, but don't worry, because there's not.
That's not happening.
We're going to be right here with our Christmas Eve gift.
Yep. Christmas Eve.
Whatever that is.
Gift, whatever that could be. Reading Luke chapter 2.
Yes.
And that will be your tradition. Maybe you have a tradition, Christmas tradition. Love to know what that is because we may adopt one at some point.
Yes.
Still trying to find a really good one.
You'll figure it out.
I mean, there's things we've done for like 2 or 3 years, and I don't know, nothing just seems to stick. So maybe you've got a great idea that we've not thought of yet. Let us know. You can leave that in the comment section somewhere, and we appreciate you watching today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for wherever you're listening or watching, for joining Dawn and Steve and being our +1.